Hey guys, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel, where today we've got another live stream. Today we're talking about mostly this man on screen here, Erik ten Hag, and basically the future of the football club. If we want to, or if you guys want to, I should say, we can go on to more of a tactical focus later on if you want, talking about Fulham, how they might set up, how United can combat it, different lineups, etc., different formations, different structures which could be used. But I think, I'm more interested in hearing your guys' thoughts on Erik ten Hag, and maybe you guys are interested in hearing my thoughts as well, because I haven't spoke to you guys since the Newcastle game. I didn't do a video on it because basically I didn't want to. It was pretty terrible, wasn't it? And I didn't want to just repeat myself and keep repeating what I've been saying a lot so far this season. So that's why we didn't cover the Newcastle game. But let me know how you guys are doing today in the chat below. Obviously, we are streaming a little bit earlier than normal. My aim here is to try and get in before the Erik ten Hag press conference this afternoon, and then also to kind of bring you my live reaction to that press conference. So that's my plan today. But yeah, get in chat. Let me know how you guys are doing today. Let me know what you think of Manchester United currently, and also, can you guys actually hear me properly? Is something also which we need to check. Yeah, sound check. Can you guys hear me properly? I've lost my headphones. But yeah, let me know in chat that you guys can hear all right. Exposed just says depressed. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. I hope you mean just because of the football club. But yeah, I think it's got us all feeling that way at the moment. It's got us all feeling pretty down. I can tell on the channel. Views on certain bits of content, it's just going dive bombing. In the summer, the views were nice and high because people were excited about what United could do this season. And then since the season started, and it's been pretty terrible, no one cares anymore, right? And again, that's why I didn't do a video on the Newcastle game, because it just feels like we're repeating ourselves over and over and over and over again. It's just the same problem constantly. So give me your thoughts on Erik ten Hag in the chat. Just let me know what you're thinking. Do you think he should stay? I guess we'll start there. Are you currently Erik ten Hag in, or are you Erik ten Hag out? Kind of the first question to start off with. Hey Danny, good to see you, mate. I'm saying, hey Jay, hey AJ, gosh, we are back to this crossroad again. Please tell us that you want to back Erik ten Hag too. I do want to back Erik ten Hag. I do want to back him. He's doing some things at the moment which are making it quite difficult. He is making me question him for the first time. But yeah, for now I'm still backing him. I assume that means that you are as well. Yeah, I'm still backing Erik ten Hag for now, though. I think in my opinion, he's still the right man for the job. But I think it's suddenly okay to question it, though. I said this the other day on stream. If someone a month ago had said, we need to get Erik ten Hag out, then I would have called that reactionary. Excuse me 1 second. I think I'm going to sneeze. I'm good. Yeah, if 1 month ago you'd have said Erik ten Hag out, I'd have said you're being a bit reactionary. He had a good season last year and things, but based on how badly the last month has gone, performance-wise and now result-wise in the last two, it's becoming a bit harder to defend it. It's not as crazy a thought to suggest he could go. AJ, how do you cope with this mess and negativity? Watch other teams play football, because they play nice football and I like watching good football. I watch Bayer Leverkusen or something like that to make me feel a bit better. I try and avoid United as much as possible at the moment. Of course, most of my content is centered around United, but truthfully, yeah, I'm not looking too much into United in terms of following a lot of the news on Twitter and things like that, because it is just a cauldron of negativity. It's an echo chamber of the same stuff over and over again, and I think we're all fed up of it. Exposed saying, yes, I will back him till the end of the season. Seems like a pretty good time frame. Ten Hag in. Danny, what are your thoughts, mate? I know that you are very much a Ten Hag in individual. Have your thoughts changed at all since Manchester City and also Newcastle? Have we spoke since City? We streamed earlier this week, right? I think we have streamed since the Manchester City game. Danny saying, personally, I am 100% Ten Hag in. Let's just do something different this time. So that's my opinion. I was talking to Corey the other day, who should be joining stream later at some point. I've been talking to him on Twitter, and my view is we've had a cycle now for 10 years where we get a manager, it works well initially, then we don't back them properly in the market, don't get the right talents in, then it goes bad, so we sack them, then we get a new manager and it goes well initially, we get top four, they don't get backed properly, it goes bad, they get sacked, and then a new manager you get the picture. I feel like we've had a lot of that over the past decade or so, and I'm just tired of it. I think it is time for something different. I'm fed up of player power at the football club. I'm fed up of the Glazers. I don't trust them to appoint a new manager. Ali, good to see you, my man. Thank you very much for the $10 donation. Once again, if everyone could spam some love hearts in chat for Ali, some thumbs up, a little bit of everything. Saying good morning, AJ, and this wonderful community. Keep your chin up. After the darkest night, there will always be a dawn. I like it. And the sun rises. Ten Hag in. Ali making his feelings very, very clear. Took Arteta 3 seasons, 8th, 8th, and 4th, and then eventually 2nd last season. Sounds pretty good to me. I like the optimism you're bringing. I like that upbeat energy you're bringing. Because I have to be honest, I'm a little bit down about the club at the moment, but I like that. Thank you very much for coming in with the positive energy, and thank you very much for the donation as always. Codename, good to see you, my man. Hope you're well. Hope you're good. Ten Hag in, and he should play his brand of football and not go for the transition football. I've got a Ali saying sorry, he meant 5th. It's all good, mate. I've got a video tomorrow morning because obviously Erik ten Hag had that quote earlier in the week saying he'll never play the Ajax football with this team. And I kind of done a video. I've recorded a video just now. I'm going to edit it tonight and then upload it tomorrow morning. Looking at that. Looking at what Ajax done well and why Ten Hag might be right that the current United squad can't do it. My question to you, though, is if Ten Hag can't get this team to play the Ajax way, the Ajax football, what type of football would you like to see instead? So let me know your thoughts on that, because I think we all want the Ajax style. I think that's why we all wanted Ten Hag in the first place. Certainly for me, that's what I was hoping for. But if we can't have that, what's kind of the next best thing you would like to see, particularly this season, perhaps before we get new signings in? Thoughts on Jared Branthwaite? Really good player, really good. I hadn't watched enough of him before this season, but this season I've been watching most of Everton's games, and I've gone back and watched his games from last season as well. Really good talent. I believe has he just signed a new contract, or is he about to? It's one of the two. But a really, really good talent. Jared Branthwaite is a quality player. I think he'll be at a big club in the next 18 months. I believe we should back the manager and get these players out. If we sack him, the job gets harder for incoming managers with players to sell. Completely agree. Any new manager will want to do something different. They'll want to bring certain players in, a certain style, get rid of certain players. We're just starting again, aren't we? He has lost the dressing room in October, so it's difficult to think where we will be by June. And I think that's a really interesting point, because has he lost the dressing room? And I think that's something that we never truly know, because we don't know what's going on in the head of the players. We don't know what their mindset is at the moment. We don't know what they're thinking. In terms of talks that he's made Raphael Varane unhappy, do I believe that? Not entirely. Talks that players are unhappy with training intensity and things like that, do I believe that? Not entirely. And if I do, then it's the players are the problem, because supposedly in the past 5 years the players have complained about training being too easy, too difficult, too tactical based, too physical based. So if those rumours and leaks are true, coming out from the same journalists, which it is every year, who headhunt after managers, if it's true, then my issue is more with the player than the managers. This team has been conditioned for years to play counter-attacking football, says Ali. You can't play Ajax style unless you have a full 11 that are tailor-made for that style. I completely agree. Completely agree. The Ten Hag approach at Ajax was full of Ten Hag players. If we look at perhaps a potential starting 11 which could play maybe tomorrow against Fulham, this doesn't scream a Ten Hag 11. Raphael Varane, Harry Maguire don't really tick that box. Reguilon was just a makeshift loan to get us kind of over the next few months. Bruno Fernandes, very transitional. Rashford, transitional. It doesn't scream Ten Hag, which makes it really difficult to do that Ajax possession-based football, that vertical tick-attack of football. I wanted the Ajax style. That's why we all wanted him and bought him. I think this is the annoyance, perhaps, with his quotes. The fact that he said that we can't play the Ajax way. I think we all wanted him. And again, me personally, I done videos on it saying, I'd love Ten Hag because he done this with Ajax. I therefore want this type of signing to come in, etc. But because the Ajax football was so good. If we wanted a pragmatic manager, there's better pragmatic managers out there. Antonio Conte, as much as I would never want him at the club, if you wanted pragmatism, he would have been a better option. Or Simeone at Atletico Madrid. If you want a pragmatic manager, you go for that style. So, apologies. So that's the annoying thing. We went for Ten Hag and we asked for Ten Hag because I think we thought we were getting that football. And we haven't yet. The thing to remember, though, is, of course, injuries. I think if you put Lissandro Martinez into this starting 11, if you put Luke Shaw into the starting 11, maybe Kobe Mainoo as well, I think we do start to see something closer to a Ten Hag team, which might be able to produce something. We just don't know. We can't play the Ajax way. Glazers have refused to invest and backing the manager. Well, supposedly he asked for Frenkie de Jong and got Casemiro. I don't see how that's a like-for-like swap. He wanted Harry Kane and Rasmus Højlund in summer, only got one of the two. He wanted a fullback, ended up with Reguilon on loan last minute. Wanted a centre-back and got Johnny Evans. It's not ideal. I mean, we were targeting Kim Min-jae or Jurrien Timber, apparently, and got Johnny Evans. If that doesn't sum up a football club, I don't know what does. Casemiro has just been ruled out for several weeks. Yeah, not ideal. Is it Kobe Mainoo time? Is it Kobe time? I think it might be. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. If you want to play the Ajax style, why did he buy Casemiro and Mount and still have Bruno and McTominay? I think Mason Mount is capable of the Erik Ten Hag style. I think it's all about having the right players around him. I think he certainly could play in that system, though, personally, Mason Mount. I think that we should have generated 45 million from Maguire Lindelof and dropped that money plus the Mount 60 million, which means 100 million onto a right centre-back and a left centre-back. The problem is, I don't think anyone came in for Lindelof, did they, this year? I think they did last year, but not this year. And Maguire didn't want to go. Got nothing to lose, so I say put Kobe Mainoo into the team. Where would you like to see him? Now, a lot of people talk about him being a 6, a holding midfielder, and I just don't see him in that way. I think his skill set is so good that he shouldn't be restricted to just one position in that way. I think more of an 8 role where he's responsible for dropping deep, trying to get the ball, probably suits him a little bit more. I also think that's where he's played a lot of his youth football. In youth football, he is given a license to get forward. The other night, he played 90 minutes for the under-21s and got 2 assists. That doesn't scream a 6, a holding midfielder to me personally. Codename saying you thought that, or my take was that Mount was going to replace Bruno. Yeah, I'm unsure on the Mount-Bruno situation still. It is hard to get a balance in a team with them. Is Amrabat a flop? I wouldn't say so. I think it's far too early. I think it's also hard to flop a loan move. But he's not been at the club very long at all. Missed a lot of football for injury. Hasn't had a pre-season. And we've seen how that's affected players in the past. I actually thought he done okay when he came on against Newcastle the other night. Of course, he made the awful error for the goal, which is poor. But in general, I think he was okay. So, we'll see. Can't believe this fan base asking for the axe on Ten Hag. You can't understate the injuries, especially Lissandro Martinez and Shaw. With the pathetic recruitment team, a manager can only do that much. Baldy got my support. I think most people are in that boat. A codename, no need to out Corey like that. It's completely reasonable to want Ten Hag out as well, in my opinion. I think it's fairly reasonable either side. He's not a flop. He's just not great either. I think that's what he showed so far. Hopefully he can improve and be great, but we'll just have to wait and see if that happens. What are your thoughts on Kobe Mainoo coming into the team? Is he too young? Is it too early? What do you think? Or is it too much pressure on him? I'll give you my opinion on that one in a second once you guys have got into chat. So let me know your thoughts on Kobe Mainoo. Hey AJ, now that Wan-Bissaka's back, do you think Dalot should move to left back and play inverted left back to add to the midfield? Really interesting idea, not something I've actually considered yet this week because I've been depressed from the matches. Obviously, it depends how fit Wan-Bissaka is. We don't want to just chuck him back in at the deep end. Perhaps he needs a bit of time to get a bit of fitness and sharpness. But yeah, there's potential for that. There is real potential for that, actually. Should we try and make something up real quick? I don't think I've got Wan-Bissaka written down yet because this is still the same page from the other day. So, 1 second. Can you guys see how slow I'm typing here? I'm doing it one-handed, left-handed, so allow me. Take Reguilon out of the team, Dalot to left back, and Wan-Bissaka to right back, something like this. Where in possession, we would then see this sort of structure. Dalot comes inside next to Amrabat. Allows a midfielder to push further forward like this. Something like that could work, potentially. There's definitely something there. Mainoo should start. Mainoo is too young. I'm afraid that the bad mood for the team ruins him. Kirby has the technical and physical ability to play now. He is ready. Put the faith in him. Seems like one of the most comfortable on the turn in the squad by miles. Completely agree with that. Lots of people see him as a potential link between midfield and defence. Spot on. People often talk about the risk of failure, but rarely how uplifting it could be if he comes in and doesn't look out of place. Really good point. Too much pressure, great potential, but need to lower our expectations and ask so much from him. The only thing I would say, the counterpoint on Kobbie Mainoo, for those that are worried, and I get the fear, right? Because it isn't ideal. I think in an ideal world that you're bringing a 17-year-old into the team. Is he 17? Or is he older than that? However old he is. You're bringing a player this young into the team. I think ideally you want to put them in a good environment where the team's playing well. I think that's the ideal situation. But if we look at a player like Marcus Rashford, he didn't come in that environment and he hit the ground running and it made his career. No one thought he was ready at the time. He kind of came in out of nowhere onto the bench because of injuries to other people, came in and took his chance. So we could see the same thing for Kobbie Mainoo with someone like Casemiro out injured. I also think Zaire Emery, teenager himself, is doing an incredible job in the PSG midfield. We've seen now how long Pedri and Gavi have been in the Barcelona midfield. Those are big clubs who have been in difficult situations over the past couple of seasons and, trusted young players from the academy to come into the side because they suit the type of football they want to play. Could Kobbie Mainoo do the same? Absolutely. It's always a really difficult one measuring and developing young players. It's a massive jump from under 18s to under 21 to the first team. And even then from Carabao Cup to the Premier League or the Champions League. It's a big change. Of course, the opponents you're playing against are very different. The physicality is very different. You're trading in a different environment. There's a lot. There's a lot of change when you move up to the first team. You need luck with injuries, which Kobbie hasn't had so far this year. You need the right temperament. You need to be a player which can take that pressure on your shoulders and deal with it. Is Kobbie that? I think so from what I've seen. I would really be tempted to start him in this game if he's fit enough to. Of course, that's probably the most important thing, actually. Is he fit enough? He played 45 minutes for the youth side last week when we played Copenhagen. And then Tuesday or Monday... When did he play? Tuesday he played 90 minutes for the under-21 side. So perhaps there could be something there. I'm seeing some comparison from you guys talking about he fits that Frankie de Jong mold. I think I've also seen someone compare him to Paul Pogba. The comparison I really like is Thiago. Thiago, who played for Barcelona, Bayern, and now Liverpool. I really like that, combined with a Frankie de Jong in the way that he carries the ball. I think the way in which Mainoo takes his first touch, is the way he opens up his body, and his centre of gravity and the way he uses hips is really Thiago-esque. Really Thiago-esque. You're doing this thing again, starting Mount in midfield over Mainoo. Well, actually, mate, if you were listening, you'd realise that we're actually discussing right now who should start. So, well done, mate. Yeah, he is like Thiago a lot. He's also got a bit of a Moussa Dembele vibe about him. He was doing some stuff the other night for the under-21s, which gave a Pogba vibe. There's a lot of talent there. There's really a lot of talent there. I don't like the idea of restricting him to a 6 role. If we're talking about, if we are to compare him to Frankie de Jong, for example, Frankie de Jong doesn't play as a 6, or he didn't for Ajax. I prefer him having someone big next to him, maybe a fullback which pushes forward. Kobbie can drop in and play like that. I like that idea. Hopefully not the glass body of Thiago, hopefully. If it was just raw technical ability, I'd be more hesitant, but his composure and view of the game is a level beyond his age. I'd say let him shine. I don't know how many of you guys have actually watched him, but Matt is spot on there. He plays like a 25-year-old, a 26-year-old. He's so intelligent. He is so intelligent with the way that he plays. It's at youth level. He's well ahead of youth level. I fear he might be in that between youth football and true elite level senior football. He might be in between somewhere. But my days, he's a talent. He just plays football at his speed. He makes everything look so easy. He's so comfortable on the ball. The way he manipulates the opposition, his understanding of how to use his body and certain little actions to throw off the opponent isn't normal for a player of his age. It's unlike anything that I've personally watched come through Carrington. In terms of, I'm fairly young. I haven't exactly seen years of Carrington. But the Carrington football I've watched over the past few years, that being the Manchester United Academy, Kobbie is the one who, technically, but in terms of intelligence as well, his mindset, he looks different. He just looks different to everything else. He looks a cut above. I think he's special. I hope he's special. And like Codename said, I hope he hasn't got the injury problems of someone like Thiago. I think Ten Hag was banking on Mainoo this season to be the link from back to front, and his plan was ruined by the injury. Yeah, if that's the case, I'm interested to know kind of what his plan is in terms of who to play alongside him. If Kobe is to come in and play a big part, who's the ideal partner? Now, I know early on in pre-season, it was actually Mason Mount was playing quite a lot of football next to him. It was often Mason Mount and Kobe Mainoo playing deep, and then it was probably Hannibal at the time in a 10, I think, in pre-season. Obviously, that's not a team which screams physique or, muscular ability. But that suggests that Ten Hag did see him as more of a holding midfielder. However, that game he got injured in, the Real Madrid one, it was Casemiro next to him. So it would be interesting to see the balance. He's not the biggest in the world. Apologies, pardon me. The reason I like him and share Lacey is because of their technical ability. Our team really lacks technicians. Spot on. Ajax currently in the bottom of the league, lost Ten Hag, no director of football, no Van der Sar, without a good sporting director, CEO and good scouting team, big teams fail. Ali summed it up pretty nicely. Yeah, spot on. I think that's the other thing we've got to consider with Ten Hag. When we talk about why isn't he playing Ajax football, well, because he doesn't have an Ajax structure around him. Or certainly the structure Ten Hag had the pleasure of working with. He doesn't have that structure. He doesn't have people setting the club up right. Muhammad Ali agrees. AJ, do you think a 2-3-3-2 could work? Fullbacks invert. Let me just kind of put this on paper real quick. 1 second. So 2-3-2-3. No, 2-3-3-2. So we've got the fullbacks inverting, like so. What, you're then pushing a midfielder higher and Bruno into the front two? Is that what you're saying? Dark, is that what you're saying? Can you just confirm? Be an interesting shape to look at. It's not really a team that many top teams use, although, of course, it's only a slight variation away from quite a common shape. That's what you mean? I mean, yeah, there's definitely potential that that sort of system could work. Perhaps not with literally this 11. My fear would be defending the counter-attack, having Maguire and Varane kind of covering large spaces out here. That would be my concern. But yeah, I think there's definitely potential it could work. It would be about getting players in the right half spaces at the right times. I fear that there's maybe not enough central presence in this particular system. I think I do prefer more of a 2-3-4-1 like this because it just gets that extra body in midfield. But there's definitely potential behind it. Mainoo has to start. Madness to do otherwise. Gavi and Pedri started at similar ages, as did Garnacho. Again, I go back to Zaire Emery at PSG at the moment. I think he's an incredible talent. I think he's one of the best youngsters on the planet. 17 years old, doing the business in the Champions League. And for PSG, the biggest club in France. It's not bad. If he can do it, why can't Kobe Mainoo do it? The problem is environment. That is the problem. It's about, is this team set up to allow Kobe to have a smooth transition? Because with young footballers in particular, it's really important that you get the start of their career right. If you have a bad start to your career, you can just get in a negative rut and never really get out of it. Whereas if you come in and play really well straight away, of course, 9 times out of 10 players go on to have a really good career. So it is important to get the start of it right. You don't think that system would work because our wingers don't cross? Yeah, you'd need adaptations to it. Zaire Emery, damn, that guy is so good. Watched him against Milan and he won man of the match. Great talent. Yeah, I thought he was one of the best players on the pitch despite losing 4-0 against Newcastle the other week as well. A question from Danny saying, obvious that Ten Hag wants to implement a high press double 8 system, but now he has to decide whether he should insist that versus being more pragmatic to save this season. What will he choose? If I was Ten Hag, I would avoid pragmatism if I could. I would try and play the closest thing to what he wants to do. Now, I don't know what he wants to do. And of course, perhaps what he fully wants to do, he can't implement with the players available. But I think at the moment, we've been quite pragmatic recently, right? City was reasonably pragmatic. Other games, United aren't playing exciting, expansive football because we'd be scoring more goals. So I think it's been slightly pragmatic so far, and it's not working. You're losing. It can't physically get worse by playing a better play style, a more expansive play style. I think I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts on this. I think for me personally as a fan, I would rather see that my club is trying to play this brand of football and losing rather than, just pragmatic losing. I'd rather see progress and a step in the right direction towards a better play style. So even if United are losing games still, like we have been recently, I would like to see at least that we're seeing suddenly a pattern that we're starting to try and play this style of football. We either are a high pressing side or we're not a high pressing side. We either do play from the back or we don't play from the back. Just to get an idea, this is one of the things which I asked for when Ten Hag first came in. It was my target for last season. I said, I don't care if we get top 4. It would be nice, but I'm not too bothered. I want to see a play style. I want to know what Ten Hag wants to do with the football club. I want an identity of how we're going to play. And I felt that at times, we got that last season. I think we got it at times last season. This season, not in the slightest, though. Agree with you, AJ. I would love to see my team play good football with great ideas and lose, rather than winning 1-0. I wouldn't say I would rather it than winning. It's just at the moment, United aren't winning. Would I rather lose to Newcastle 3-0 playing horrendous football or lose to Newcastle 3-0 playing football where it looks like we're trying to build something? I'd rather try and build something. Everybody has doubts about Ten Hag tactics. Please remember when we played Spurs last season and when we played Barcelona, he needs time and good recruitment. Trust me, he will be good. I think he really needs the structure above him. I think he needs the pressure off him that he isn't the main man in terms of recruitment, identifying players and bringing them into the club. Make him a coach rather than a manager. I think that's the way forward with Ten Hag. Give him that structure above him where, we've got a sporting director, we've got a director of football, we've got a good CEO. Hopefully things which Ratcliffe will bring into the club. Then hopefully we can start to see Ten Hag flourishing more. Granted, though, at the same time, Ten Hag is currently getting things wrong. FP, good to see you, mate. I forgot to ask you about a quiz, didn't I? I've messaged you, but I forgot to actually sort it for this week. We'll sort it for next week. Hope you're well, though, mate. Yes, we have seen the news about Sir Jim Ratcliffe reportedly investing, was it 265 million or something out of his own pocket? Not just his business, but out of his own pocket into the club, which I believe makes it 265 million more than the Glazers have in their entire time at the club. Get the Glazers out, please. But yeah, I think Sir Jim Ratcliffe can be a step in the right direction. I think he can be a move towards a better footballing identity at the club. If he can take some time to assess the situation, let's say he comes in this month, give him a couple of months to assess the team, then maybe from there he then brings in a director of football after that, kind of assesses what we need and bring different things into place to make a structure, and then next summer we're really set up. I think that would be the idea in terms of a structural point of view. Obviously, tactically, we need to improve way before then. But as a structure of a football club, the aim should be by next summer we have a good structure and we're ready to go. That has to be the plan. 100 million for the training ground? Yeah. He wants to improve the facilities, right? Did I just knock everything? I do apologise if I did. Just removing the Glazers will be positive no matter what. Yeah, I think taking any percentage away from the Glazers is a step in the right direction. I've heard a little whisper that City want to get Kobe Mainoo. Tell them to stay away at all costs. If we have to take pitchforks and fires to City's front door, we will. Leave our Kobe Mainoo alone. He's ours. You're not having him. Ali, thank you very much for the donation. Just a round of applause for FP from Ali, and I think everyone in chat needs to join in with that. Thank you very much, Ali, for the donation. If everyone else could join in with a little round of applause for him. Do I have a custom emoji for that? I don't. Spam some clapping emojis in chat, though. Thank you very much, Ali, and FP. It's good to see you, mate. Spam some love hearts and some clapping emojis in the chat. Do you think Ten Hag will get the sack before Christmas? No. We need bodyguards all over Mainoo. Maybe we should do it. We're nearly at 20,000 now on the channel. Maybe we should, as a 20,000 people, we just stand around Kobe and protect him. And take his agent's phone off him just in case. Yeah, I don't think Kobe's going anywhere, personally. Speculating here, says Danny, but some players know they don't have a future with that proposed high-pressing style. Then they go, nah, not going to do that, and let's just wait and outlast this one too. Player power at the football club needs to go. Quite possibly. This is why I'm backing Ten Hag. Because again, I'm fed up of the same cycle of players getting managers kicked out of the club. Stick with a manager this time, please. Madu, good to see you, mate. MUFC, good to see you as well. Hope you're well. The pair of you, good to see you on stream as always. Why am I always late? You got to get notifications turned on. Pardon me, I do apologise. Madu, if you go on my channel page, you can. There's like a bell symbol. If you press that, it turns notifications on, which means that on your phone or whatever, you will get a notification when I go live or when I upload. If that interests you, feel free to do that. Hard not to play pragmatic with Maguire in the team. I see your point, right? But if we're talking about Maguire, I guess the reason you're saying that is because he's quite slow and quite lethargic on the turn and things like that. I think we look at Ruben Dias at Manchester City. I think Ruben Dias... Oh my days, my voice. I think Ruben Dias is much better than Harry Maguire. I think he's a much better player. But they do have some similarities in the fact that neither of them are the quickest. Neither of them are the quickest on the turn. But City don't play pragmatic football to cover it. AJ, do you think Facundo as a right back or right wing back one day because he's got great work rate? I think he could work as a wing back. He's played that role for Uruguay before. I think he could do that. Madu, no worries, mate. Thank you for getting those notifications on. Everyone else, like the stream. 15 likes. What's going on there? Run that like counter up. I'm not talking till we run those likes up, everybody. Like the stream, like the stream. Like the stream. Like the stream. Rumour has it if you like the AJ stream, we'll have Buster on the stream right now. It's a rumour. It's not true, but it is a rumour. Yeah, on the count of 3, everyone press like, alright? Then we'll carry on. So 3, 2, 1. Press the like button right now. I'm watching the like counter. I want to see it go up. And I know who hasn't liked it. Yeah, I see you. You haven't liked the stream. Come on. Like the stream. Thank you very much for you guys that did like it. For those that didn't, not angry, just disappointed. City have the intelligence to facilitate the Diaz flaws. Yeah, absolutely. I'm just saying, I think it can't purely be because of Harry Maguire that you've got to play pragmatic. AJ Dream, keep doing what you're doing. Your channel will grow, I'm sure of it. Thank you very much. Muhammad Ali said, AJ, I like the stream. Please don't kill my family. Your family is safe. Your family is safe from me. Ali started watching and totally forgot to hit the like. I'll forgive you. I'll forgive you. Thank you very much to everyone who has liked the stream and everyone for tuning in so far. We actually hadn't spoke about it yet. What did you guys actually think of the Newcastle game? Because I realised we hadn't covered it yet. It's gonna sound. I'm gonna sound absurd for saying this, and people might leave the stream instantly. And I just want to check a stat just to confirm it. But 1 second. I don't think United were that horrendous against Newcastle. And it sounds weird because we lost 3-0, right? But if you look at the goals, we've got a Lewis Hall kind of half volley, left-footed outside of the penalty area. It's an anomaly. I think defensively it was all over the shop for the goals, right? I think let's not make any mistake about that. I just feel like game state took over. I think FP said it a minute ago. I think he said that the possession was better, but that players just didn't kind of understand game state very well. Yeah, had a better control of possession. And I do agree. I think even Casemiro early in the game, the first 20 minutes, was doing a better job of keeping the ball. I also thought he was actually looked a bit more mobile for once. That soon crashed and now he's injured. But I'm trying to find the expected goals. Does anyone have the expected goals from that game? FP's probably got it somewhere. He's probably got it in his back pocket. The physical duels was a big problem. Oh yeah, I'll give you that. We had a real problem in the duel. I think in the... What was the stat I saw in the first half? it was some crazy stat about our duel percentage. I think Casemiro didn't win a duel. Was it Lindelof didn't in the first half? Someone else didn't. It was horrendous. I'm trying to find the XG from the game. I bet FP's racing me to it as well. I'm going to beat him. I've got it here somewhere. Here we go. I've beat him. So Manchester United had 0.71 XG in that game, which overall, obviously, that might be from a lot of chances, but overall, you would expect to be scoring around from that. Newcastle had 1.04, so their expected goal difference in this game was 0.3, yet there was a 3-goal difference. So it wasn't as bad as the scoreline reflected, based on expected goals, which again has to be used in the right way. Is it one big chance or is it 20 small chances? But to look at it on a base level, if our XG is 0.7, theirs is 1.04, you expect to lose 1-0, maybe it finishes 1-1. Not to lose 3-0. Now, it wasn't a 3-0 game. I didn't think Newcastle were that good. I can't remember that many clear-cut chances on the goal. Can you remember Onana being forced into anything crazy, really? I don't, personally. But just to confirm, I'm not saying it was good. I don't think United played well by any means. But we did actually see a more controlled approach. And, you know, we did see more possession. But again, it's just individual errors. We were playing against the Newcastle reserves, though. Oh yeah, I'm not putting into context who we played against. I'm talking just as a football match. Did we deserve to lose 3-0? No. It's just my personal opinion. Absolutely, you should beat that team. If you saw their lineup, you should beat it. But I'm just saying, if you actually look how the 90 minutes went, I don't think it was a 3-0 game. I think either team could have won that 1-0 and not complained too much. The duels was a big problem. United physically got done in that game. It didn't help that Hannibal and Casemiro picked up early bookings as well, because then you're scared to go into challenges. Joel Linton's standing on the ball for about half an hour waiting for you to tackle him. But I'm just saying I don't think it was a 3-0 game. That's all. I still don't think it was good. Too much fluidity, too many rotations, timing of angles, and arriving into space was wrong. So that's something I actually speak about in tomorrow morning's video. Talking about United trying to play the Ajax way. I think there's a big problem with rotations in deeper phases. It's okay to an extent, right? But let's go back to that game from the other night. Let's try and find who played. Varane didn't play today. We saw Evans, we saw Lindelof, we saw Dallo at right back. First half, it was a very changed team. Martial, Garnacho, Hannibal, Mason Mount, Casemiro. So I think that was the team. Rotating is good, right? In the final third, if I rotate a lot, then I'm going to hurt this defence because players don't know who they're meant to be picking up. Especially if you can create a front five for your attacking shape. When you start moving into different positions, let's say I'm Mason Mount here, I pop up left side, Garnacho comes inside, it's quite difficult for the fullback to know who to pick up. I also think, let's say United are building, let's go for a 3-2 structure, right? The structure isn't too important, it's more about the idea here. But let's say United are playing in a 3-2 like this. I think it's okay for at times, your central midfielder to drop deep like this, your fullback to push forward, and you have a little rotation there. Or depending on the side you are, your winger might come in, your fullback might overlap round the outside, and your midfielder again drops deep. For example, Christian Eriksen, Luke Shaw, Marcus Rashford done that really well last season. I think the problem United have got this season is that we've got the complete wrong profiles are rotating into positions where it just does not work. Lindelof at left back, rotating wide, is no sort of solution. With Luke Shaw, it's fine, because of course Luke Shaw can do that. He can also invert, or underlap I should say, and at times invert slightly. So it's an improvement. We've got at the moment Lindelof trying to do it, and he just can't do it. The other thing we've got is Johnny Evans, as opposed to Lissandro Martinez, stepping forward into midfield, or sometimes Maguire doing it. It's not ideal to have Harry Maguire or Johnny Evans receiving the ball with back to play. It doesn't work. So it's a poor rotation. It's a rotation which doesn't work. The other thing when you rotate a lot, positionally, in deeper phases, is when you lose the ball, your rest defence is much worse. Now, rest defence is something that we were speaking about quite a lot during the summer and also the start of the season. It's about almost being ready to lose the ball and dealing with it from there. Because when you've got a structure where Casemiro is allowed to rotate forward, Garnacho rotates deep, Lindelof rotates forward, Hannibal Mejbri rotates deep. If we're talking about the goal the other night, where Newcastle now win the ball and counter-attack, suddenly, because we've rotated, because we've got players able to move into different positions, it's quite a fluid system, we've now got Mason Mount and Hannibal trying to break up a counter-attack, whilst Casemiro is on the edge of the Newcastle penalty area. It's not ideal. That's not a good rotation. If you're going to rotate like that, you need to be... That's when you need better individual decisions to keep the ball. I think at the time, Garnacho tries to take on his man. It was Reguilon that game, wasn't it, actually? Reguilon played that game. Johnny Evans didn't play, it was Reguilon. Regardless, though, in terms of in general recently. But Garnacho gets into this position, loses the ball. Now we've got, because of our rotation, we've got Casemiro high and a powerful ball carrier like Livramento, wonderful player, counter-attacking against Mason Mount and Hannibal Mejbri. It's too much of a rotation. It can work with certain players. Lisandro Martinez can step into here. Luke Shaw can fly around here. Certain midfielders can do this job. But a rotation where you then have Mount and Hannibal defending the counter-attack doesn't really work. And again, if you are going to be in that rotation in a split moment, there has to be an understanding of pattern, which needs to be worked on in training, that, okay, we don't lose the ball here. Because what does Garnacho do? He tries to take on his man. Reguilon kind of tries to overlap, but he's late, getting there, gets tackled, and it's just a horrendous structure. United are caught between structures, but it's because the players don't have the intelligence of when I can take my man on, when I need to keep the ball. And I think that's a real problem with too many rotations, and I think it's something which Ten Hag's really struggling with. Martial effective as a possession false 9 player. I thought Martial had a really on-off night. He done a couple of things where he kept the ball quite nicely, and then he done other things where I wanted to boot him onto Mars because he was doing my head in. But yeah, those are just kind of my main thoughts on the Newcastle game. Again, I don't want to dwell on it too long just because I think it's what we've seen all season. But those were some of my thoughts on that match. Just thinking about it, I'm trying to make an 11 here for the Fulham game. Would you guys go for Mason Mount or Bruno Fernandes in the 10? Obviously, we saw Bruno Fernandes rested or dropped midweek. Not too sure which it was. Would you play Mount in this role or Bruno Fernandes? Mount gives you ball retention. I'll say that much. If United had a solid backline in terms of defensive and techno-tactical quality, most of the issues would be non-existent. I think that would help. I think what Ten Hag needs to kind of find is our back five can rotate a little bit, but we don't need like 4 of them doing it at once. You know, I don't mind a fullback pushing into midfield like this, and then on another occasion, a centre-back drops in like this, and we're kind of swapping 2 players. I don't mind that. It's when we've got Maguire steps in, fullback steps back, midfielder steps back, things like that. That's when I like it less. I would rather see I want to see a more structured base so then the forward line can rotate more. That's the solution, in my opinion. A lot of you guys are saying Mount over Bruno. Let's just quickly go through this. So we've got Mount, Mason Mount 10. Bruno as a 10. Mount. FP agreeing with what I'm saying. I love to hear that from you, FP, mate. Bruno in the 10 if we counter-attack. We might sit deep for this game. Our away record is not very good. I'll tell you one thing. In terms of United need 3 points right now in a performance, going away to London at 12:30 PM on a Saturday is not what you want to be doing. It's not the trek you want to be making for 3 points. That 12:30 game. It's always a sticky one. It's always a problem game. I think it's going to be quite a hard game for United. FP asking, how did we set up versus Fulham last year? I can't actually remember. I haven't done the research into it. Was that the game just before the World Cup where Garnacho scored 90 plus minutes or something to score a winner? Was that 1-0 or 2-1? It was that game. Corey, good to see you, mate. Hope you're well. Glad you could join us. Hope you're having a good day, mate. Had a good chat with you on Twitter the other day. So it was the 2-1 game. Let me try and find the starting 11. It might ring a bell of kind of what the system was. So we saw Elanga and Rashford on the wings in that game. Martial up front. Fernandes, Eriksen, Casemiro was on midfield. Malacia played right back. Luke Shaw played left back. Fulham had more possession. 53% possession to United's 47. But United had 2.59 XG compared to Fulham's 1.37. In terms of average positions, it looks kind of like United were in a sort of a 2-3-4-1 shape, which is a shape we've spoken about already. Fulham more of a 4-2-3-1 where the 10 Andres Pereira was going to push a little bit further forward. Yeah, it was the Garnacho match. Yeah. We need to sign another left-footed centre-back. We only have one, and he's does not play. The build is very one-dimensional. When he doesn't play, sorry. Yeah, Jay, I think you're spot on. And I think we're seeing Fabrizio Romano suggesting something similar. He said United's talks of signing a centre-back in January is very dependent on... what was I going to say there? The fitness of Lisandro Martinez. Let me try and find the Fulham game real quick from last season on SofaScore for you guys, so you guys can get an idea of average shape and things like that. So you guys can just look at Erik ten Hag for a second while I get this up off screen. Inacio, linked with Real Madrid at the moment. I believe he played in midfield last night in a double pivot, which really highlights technical ability. If we can get the midfield working, I know for certain that the whole team will perform well. Yeah, I think it'll be a step in the right direction. I think we also need to see a consistent defence, which isn't necessarily on the manager. You know, we've had a lot of issues with fitness. I saw a stat that United have played 15 games, I think, this season. Yeah, why is Ten Hag looking at me like that? I think, no, yeah. United have played 15 games this season, and we've seen 10 different combinations of back four. The most common combination of back four has played 3 games together, and that's Lindelof left back, Maguire, Evans centre back, Dalot right back. That's our most common defence this year. Like, if anyone wants to talk about problems with a football club, go no further than that. I'm trying to find this Fulham game. This is the face I pull. This Ten Hag face is the face I pull if you guys don't like. Okay, so I found it. I just want to make it good for you guys to see. You guys seeing that okay? Yeah, Buster's joined, ladies and gentlemen. Ten Hag thinks AJ is Sancho. Yeah, that's why he's looking at me like that. Yeah, can you guys see this all right? Buster, do you want to come over, mate? Do you want to come over? Are we going to break everything? Okay, he doesn't want to come on camera, I'm afraid. This is the United average shape for that game last year, though, away against Fulham. So it doesn't scream... it doesn't scream Park the Bus football, but also if you actually look at the depth of the positioning, it's not ideal. I'm just going to be back in 1 second real quick. 1 second. Unfortunately, Buster did not want to be on stream today. He just knocked the door down to get back out. Let's go back to what we were looking at, though. So, FP, this is what you're asking about. This was our average positions against Fulham away from home last season. But what we can see, I don't mind the shape there. I don't mind a 2-3-4-1 sort of shape with Elanga playing high wide on the right. But it's the depth of it. Look at the depth of Fulham's here. Fulham are much higher up the pitch. So kind of look halfway in the half here. For the United forwards are not even halfway inside the Fulham half. So I'm guessing Fulham had a lot of territory in that game. Like I said, I can't actually remember the match off the top of my head. I can't remember massively what we saw. It's interesting that Tyrell Malacia played right back. Can anyone remember if he inverted? Can you guys see his heat map if I do that, or can you not see it? Can't see it, can you? What if I do this? So it doesn't scream inverted fullback sort of play style, really. But perhaps it does give us a slight indicator on what we might see this weekend. What would you guys go for? Should we make a starting 11? We haven't done that yet today. Have I now messed up this board is the question. Yep. Here we go. Look at all those players up the top there. Beautiful. Malacia didn't invert. He was fighting with Willian. Bosh, there we go. So what would you guys go for starting 11 then? Because we do maybe have a choice of fullback now. Because we've got Reguilon, we've got Dalot, and we've also got Harold Wan-Bissaka. Another 3-0 loss would be crazy. Another 3-0 loss and he might be gone. I think Ten Hag would go with a 3-0 loss. I think he'd be looking at me much worse than this. Okay, yeah, let's make a start 11 for this game and go from there. We've kind of had our Ten Hag talk. We can come back to that as well. What would we... what would you guys go for at fullback? Get in chat. Give me a 2 fullback combo here. Are you going Reguilon and Dalot? Are you going Dalot and Wan-Bissaka? Or Wan-Bissaka and Reguilon? Or Lindelof? Yay. Get in chat. Danny saying Wan-Bissaka and Dalot straight away. Thank you. Madhu saying Reguilon and Dalot. Corey saying Dalot and Reguilon. Dalot and Wan-Bissaka. This is going to split the room, this one, isn't it? Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Reguilon. Let Dalot rest. Yeah, Dalot could do with a break is the only thing in my head. So I think Dalot's in most of those teams, though. Kind of want Wan-Bissaka on to handle Iwobi and Willian. Reguilon seems to be off since his injury. I think that's a really fair point. I think he was really poor the other night. Reguilon and Wan-Bissaka. It's a difficult one. It is a difficult one. AJ, do you have hope on Anthony as a footballer? I think there's still a player there. Yeah, I think you can still make it work. I think if you go back and watch Ajax from, under Ten Hag, I think if you watch Anthony, he's actually doing very similar stuff to what he's doing now. It's just he was in a much better structure, which had a bit of movement around him. So I do still believe. Dalot on the bench would be key. Wan-Bissaka and Reguilon. This is divided opinion. What would I go for? I would go for... I'm going to go for Dalot and Wan-Bissaka. A last-minute decision. Dalot and Wan-Bissaka. Hadn't even thought of that before stream. Yeah, I think I'd maybe go for that. Because I quite like Dalot as a left-back. Centre-back-wise, Maguire's going to play. I think he's our most informed centre-back. Is he going to play on the left or the right? It probably depends who plays alongside him. I think a Johnny Evans type pairing would see Maguire move to the right, as would a Victor Lindelof pairing. Is Raphael Varane available? Anyone know? Dalot needs rest. You're not wrong. Maybe we could take Dalot out. We'll see. Ten Hag is thinking with the wrong head when he picks his starting 11. Wan-Bissaka and Reguilon. Varane is a mystery nowadays. Yeah, pretty much. Also, by the way, guys, I know some of you might want to disappear when we get the Erik Ten Hag press conference, but I want you to know that I will be bringing you updates as and when we get it. Does anyone have Varane news? I'm hoping that Ten Hag might give us some. But yeah, you do not need to leave stream when Ten Hag goes live with his press conference, because I'll be bringing it to you here. So fear not. Just looking for something real quick. If it's me, I'd go for Raphael Varane and Harry Maguire. I also think, yeah, Anthony does have a decent understanding of Wan-Bissaka. Let's go for Varane. Comfy here? Exactly, it's comfy here. Why do you want to leave? Reportedly, Varane is not happy. I don't know if I buy into that. Let me know what you think. Do you guys believe that Varane is unhappy? Because Varane seems like a pretty laid-back guy. It seems hard to make him unhappy. Again, I say it all the time. It's the same journalists every single time. The second things go wrong, the second we lose, you can put your money on a certain someone is going to put some sort of story out the next morning about someone being unhappy, someone not liking the intensity of training, someone, or the club looking at different managers. It happens every time. I just don't know if it's true. I don't know that it's true. Of course we don't know. He missed a game due to illness. That's what I think is more believable, personally. Hopefully that means he'll be back for this one. Who knows? Depends what illness. Do you think he'll be back? Hopefully, like I said, we'll get some news from Ten Hag. Ten Hag really does not look happy in this picture, does he? It is why I went for it. Yeah, he does look quite menacing, though. Samuel Luckhurst needs calling out by Ten Hag in the presser. Hey, you said the name, not me. But yeah, Samuel Luckhurst is a disaster for this club. The negative spin he puts on the whole club is unbelievable. It's what he lives for. I don't know if he claims to be a United fan, but he's not one. I'll say that much. I personally can't disagree in a big derby if I'm Varane and I'm dropped for a centre-back pairing that have been relegated only God knows how many times. Yeah, that one would annoy me if I was Varane. Again, though, we don't know that it's true is the thing. Because my immediate reaction when Ten Hag said that the other day was that I reckon Varane's injured, injured I assumed at the time, and trying to build the confidence of the squad by saying, oh, I was always going to play Evans. We don't need to worry, guys. We're not missing a key player. It was always going to be Evans. Right, guys? Yeah. I think that's maybe the approach Ten Hag was going for, rather than going, no, Varane's injured. We are weaker than I wanted to be. Saying that before a derby doesn't help. Whereas I think by going, no, it's tactical. We want to play Johnny Evans. It puts a bit of confidence in Evans and also the squad. Even though I probably wouldn't believe it, because in what world do you play Evans over Varane? If it was genuinely tactical, that alone makes me question this man and his future. Can Ten Hag actually ban some of them? Yeah, he does have the ability to. Sir Alex Ferguson used to do it. You can ban certain journalists from conferences and things like that. Varane is the ultimate professional. He wouldn't clash with Ten Hag. Yeah, that's what I think personally. Casemiro out for several weeks. Hamstring injury. Yep, another one. What do we think of that? Injury crisis. Is it unlucky? Or is it a theme here that the training intensity is wrong? Now, the way I'd been thinking about it before was that the training intensity was too high, right? Because let's just imagine you're playing football on a Saturday, a Wednesday, a Saturday, a Wednesday, a Saturday, a Wednesday. And you then in training between those games do a lot of high intensity work. Your muscles are fatigued, your muscles are overworked, therefore they pull, they overstretch, whatever, you pick up an injury. So that was my first thought. What I've been thinking about this week is it actually the exact opposite? Is it that the training intensity isn't high enough? That the muscles aren't well prepared enough? Because again, if you go back to pre-season, we done 8 pre-season games compared to most teams having 4. That means less time on the training ground. Now, yes, you get an element of fitness from playing matches, of course you do, but not in terms of strength and conditioning and things like that. So I think the training intensity is definitely off to see this amount of muscular injuries. It's either freak of nature, super unlucky, or training intensity is off. The muscles are either working too hard, too much repetitive strain, which is seeing injuries occur due to fatigue, or the muscles aren't being worked hard enough and aren't conditioned to high intensity work in matches. It has to be one of the two. I'm not sure which, and of course we don't know because we don't watch training. But it's interesting to think about, because I think we automatically go to, we're getting injured a lot, we're training too hard. But it could be we're not training hard enough. So again, we don't know because we're not in training, but it's an interesting one. I guess it's the latter. So you think it's I can't remember what way around I said it. So you think we're not intense enough in training? I can't remember what way around I said the two. I think it's a training issue either way. But is it training too hard or is it training not hard enough? That's the flip here. Do we work too hard in training or not hard enough to strengthen condition? Who knows? You look at a team like Manchester City, they don't pick up many injuries. Do they get their balance of intensity better, basically? I presume Ten Hag is just doing the same thing he did at Ajax. Don't see why Ten Hag would be doing anything out of the ordinary when it comes to training. Just seems like more of an excuse by players. Yeah, I'm talking more of a strength and conditioning problem, which wouldn't be on Ten Hag. That would be on different coaches. That would be on the fitness department at the club. I dare say Ten Hag has a say over that, but there will be separate teams for things like strength and conditioning and fitness tests, all of that sort of thing. That will be separate people dealing with that. So if Ten Hag's got a completely different team to what he had at Ajax in terms of a fitness team, who knows? Also, as Ali's pointed out there, United had a longer season out of anyone last year. I think they played the most club football out of anyone in the world. So, Alphonso Davies or Teo Hernandez. I don't really watch enough of either of them, I'll be honest. I probably need to make an effort to watch them more. I'm going to go Alphonso Davies. I think Teo Hernandez is injury prone. Not injury prone, sorry, error prone. Maybe an unpopular opinion, but I would like to see a front with right wing Rashford, left wing Bruno. Interesting. Ten Hag did not rotate last season, but I will counter that because I agree Ten Hag has not rotated enough this season, or did not rotate enough last season. I completely agree. But are we seeing almost exactly why this season? Because when you do rotate and you start to bring certain people in, the quality goes dive bombs. To get back to this, what would you guys go for midfield? Why was Ten Hag only allowed to bring 3 staff members? That seems like way too little. No idea. The problem isn't training hard, but training smartly. Absolutely. You've got to get the intensity spot on. There's a balance. If you don't work hard enough in training, you do a lack of intensity. The muscles aren't physically prepared for intense work. If you do too higher intensity, your muscles are fatigued. So it's definitely about being smart and getting the balance. Amrabat, Mount, and Hannibal. Hannibal again. What did you guys think of Hannibal the other night, actually? Keep coming in with your opinions, but what did you guys think of Hannibal? Just trying to find any quotes from Ten Hag this afternoon. By the way, guys, I do have a Discord server set up and made. I'm just waiting to launch it. But we do have it ready, and I think it will be free to join. I thought Hannibal was good, barring the card. He gave us energy and made several good tackles. I was impressed with him, discipline-wise, after being booked and making a couple of fouls. I thought it's a walking red card, especially when he then didn't come off at half-time. I actually think that was good man management. The fact that Ten Hag... I feel like if I'm a player and I've been booked and made 2 fouls, if my manager hooks me off, in my head I am thinking, well, he doesn't trust my discipline. So the fact that Ten Hag kept him on, and it was going to go one of 2 ways. He was either going to get sent off and it would be terrible, or he would stay on, and actually it's a boost for Hannibal that my manager did trust me. So I actually think it was good man management there. Amrabat, Eriksson, Bruno. AJ, can we play a 4-4-2 with Rashford next to Rasmus as an inside forward? It would be about finding the wide players at that point, but absolutely. Anyone else surprised by Hannibal being labelled as an energy merchant? Is he not also highly technically competent? Yeah, he is a pretty good technical player. I think because he runs about and kicks people a lot, though, it's what people go to. Gavi at Barcelona has a similar issue. Because he makes a lot of fouls and gets a lot of bookings, that's all everyone kind of goes to and talks about. Corey saying Van der Beek. Hadn't heard that name for a while. Also, Ten Hag has said today Varane is ready to play. And Chad, thank you very much. It is. It's doing great today, actually. Hope yours is as well, mate. I think Ten Hag plays Hannibal too high up the pitch. He is better as a box-to-box 8 rather than a 10. Potentially so. So Ten Hag has said Varane is ready to play. Now we hope he plays. Because if he doesn't, is it then suggesting tactical? Unless it's a protection thing. I would hope, though, that Rafael Varane will play this game and the whole idea that him and Ten Hag have fallen out will be put to bed. I think this is going to be an interesting press conference, though, so don't worry, guys. I'm going to keep bringing you the latest. Victor Lindelof is a doubt to face Fulham due to illness. I don't believe it. There's a chance here we get 2 centre-backs playing centre-back and 2 full-backs playing full-back. I never thought I'd see the day. Did someone just put a love heart as I said Lindelof is ill? Are you celebrating that? If so, fair play. Hannibal is an evil Grealish. Last season we won the most games with Casemiro, Eriksen and Bruno. Why don't we try it, but using Amrabat since Casemiro is out? I mean, obviously it changes the balance of things, and it's not quite as simple as that, but the principle is there for sure. You then have to look at the style of football we played last season as well, though. So it's about... what was I about to say? I think what we've seen a lot of this season is Ten Hag trying to figure out what style of football he wants to play. Who's spamming laughing emojis? So it's moving from a park the bus system to a counter-attack system to a possession system. It's really difficult to do. And I think Ten Hag's finding himself at times in between different things. It's what we were speaking about the other day, which is why, say, Casemiro, Eriksen, Bruno done well last year. They could play again this year and be awful. So it's a difficult one to gauge, really. So Ten Hag has just said, I don't want Onana to go for long balls. I want to play from the back. Is he losing his mind, Eric? AJ, we should combine our powers and cast an incarnation to grow hair on Ten Hag's head. Keep his head warm. Protect that brain of his. I'm just going to keep bringing you some quotes. Actually, I might be able to get it on Twitter. Let me work on this, guys. Look at this. Cutting edge technology here on the AJ Analysis channel. During the Newcastle match, Hannibal got barged off by opposition player a few times. He needs to build up. I thought Mason Mount was disappointing on that goal for Livramento as well. What I will say at the same time is Livramento physically is unbelievable. I've always loved him as a player. I was really scared that when he got that big injury, that he was going to lose a lot physically. He has not. What a player. Let's get this guy. Can you guys see that all right? Let's have a look. Lovely stuff. Here we go. You don't need to go to United stand. You don't need to go to Ten Hag's press conference. Look at this. Bosh. What's Codename talking about here? Wake me up when who's playing? Wake me up when Shaw and Litcher's back. AJ, speaking of Onana, he will be out for a few weeks in January. When do you think we should give the Turkish goalkeeper a chance to play a few games? That's a really good question, actually, because... what was I about to say there? Because now we're out of the Carabao Cup, I don't know when you can play him. It would have made a lot of sense for him to play in the Carabao Cup. Let's say we got a Port Vale, for example. That's when you play him. So it's a great question, and truthfully, I have no idea at the moment. Because we're also trying to build Onana and some sort of consistency with him and the centre-backs. So it's a good question that I don't have the answer to. Have you considered being the front man in a Green Day cover band? After that performance, I should consider it. Corey, it's not a bad approach. I like it. The fact that you've got Rooney and Scholes and Carrick in there makes me happy as well, because they're three of my favourite players ever. Di Maria and Pogba I weren't expecting to see, but I like it. AJ, follow Harry Maguire. Can you guys see that I haven't followed Maguire? That's a bit awkward, isn't it? Sorry, Harry, mate. How are you calling me out like that? So yeah, as we get more from Erik ten Hag, I'll bring it to you guys. Varane too chill and experienced to be upset? Yeah, I don't believe the Varane stuff, personally, but we'll see. What do you think of bringing Eriksen in as the 10? Oh yeah, we should probably go back to that, shouldn't we? 1 second. Bosh. Who did we settle on for our midfield? Your first album title would be Wake Me Up After Glazer is gone. We might be cooking something there. That's a new segment coming to the channel soon. Amrabat's going to play, right? Would you assume? Let me know your midfield, guys. Amrabat, Kobe Mainoo, Mount, Bruno, Eriksen, McTominay, Hannibal. Those are the ones available, I believe. Apologies, or correct me if I've missed someone there. Van der Beek. Where is Van der Beek? Did excellent in pre-season, yet he hasn't been seen since. I have no idea. I could not tell you. Is he injured? No idea. Is he available? No idea. He obviously can't start, for example, because there's no sharp match fitness in there, but no idea. What did you think of Amrabat against Newcastle? I thought he made a big difference in our play. Yeah, I thought he helped manage the tempo much better. I'm not sure if FP is here, but I'm sure he could bring you the passing stats. I think he had about 94% pass completion in the game, though. Obviously, he made an error for the goal, which was poor, but in general, I thought he had a pretty good game. AJ, do you think Onana's reflex saves can be better? But do you guys think Onana was to blame for any of the goals the other night? Personally, I don't. I think the first one, he can close the angle a bit quicker, maybe. But in general, I don't think he was to blame. Amrabat as the base midfielder, Eriksen the playmaker, Mount as the advanced. Is that in a 4-2-3-1 or more of a 4-3-3? Do you think Barack Obama would want Van der Beek to start? Yeah, I think he's this sort of player. Madu doesn't think that Mainoo should start. Ali saying Amrabat, Mainoo and Eriksen. I'm trying to find where I've put them. Am I being stupid? Oh, he's there. Never mind. Where's Eriksen? Here he is. Let me put midfielders up here so you guys can see who we've got to choose from. McTominay, Hannibal, plus these three here. I think those are the choices. How many of those chances last night could our attackers have scored if the situation was reversed? Good question, to be fair. A really good question. Should we try to find some more Ten Hag quotes from his press conference this afternoon? I'm also going to be back in 1 second. Just give me a second, I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. I am back. You might have seen a little buster up here. Good boy. Do you want to poke your head up? Good boy. Good boy. Thank you very much. This is Buster Cam, for anyone that's interested. Look at him. That deserves a like. Like the stream, guys. Like the stream. Look how cute he is. Good boy. Anyway. Yeah, this is Doggo Buster. He's an absolute legend. So like the stream. Like the stream for Buster. Buster gets really happy when you like streams, don't you, mate? You really like it. Good boy. So. About to dive bomb off my chair. Where you going? Where you going? No, not up on my desk. Thank you. Let's get back to some Ten Hag quotes. I do apologise for the distraction. So this is the last thing we saw, right? It was, I don't want Onana to go for long balls. I want to play from the back. This is the last thing that we looked at. Buster, what are you doing? Good boy. He said, I came here with my philosophy based on possession, but able to combine it with the DNA of Manchester United, but also with the players and their character. We combined it last year and we played very good football last season. And then he said, I want to play from the back, and we try that in every game. But like against Man City, if they are good at pressing, it's a good option to go direct. We want to press, then go direct, because we have the players who are very good at it. What are your thoughts on that? Are you trying to go out again now? God damn it. Ten Hag on criticism of no style. I don't want to say that. That's too strong. The intention is clear, but the execution isn't there. That's interesting, because that's kind of pointing at the players a little bit to say that. In the moment we're in with so many changes, we can't line up the same game each time, and we have to swap. We miss players in the back four, and every time we have to adjust, which doesn't help the routines. Reasonable. I don't think he's lying. You okay, mate? You okay? Ten Hag on player mood. They are positive. They want to put this right, and we know the standards here. We have to match them every day. We've had 2 big setbacks, but we'll fight back. The dressing room is strong. The staff are strong, and this manager is strong. I like that. Hang on, I'm going to let Buster back out, but I'll leave this on screen so you guys can read it. much room here, is there? Go on then. Good boy. We're back. We're back. We're back. What's the rest of this? Ten Hag, we have to win. That is the demand, and I don't walk away from that. Ten Hag on whether it's a must-win versus Fulham. I never think of such scenarios. We have to win every game. We prepare very good, and I'm sure the players are ready tomorrow to execute the plan. Thoughts on this, guys? What are we saying about this? I have a good squad. I'm convinced about the players in the dressing room. We saw these players last year. They can do a lot better, but that's up to me to let them play better. I like that he's kind of taken responsibility. Oh, as he says here, I have to take the responsibility. I will put every effort into getting this done. What do we think of those quotes then, guys? I'll keep bringing them to you as they come. Good to see he takes responsibility. Yeah, I think at times this season, he's almost thrown players under the bus a little bit. In certain instances, he's criticised players a little bit more publicly at times and things like that. I prefer to see a manager which is going to protect his players, and I think we've seen that here. So, yeah, I do like that. Just going to read through some of these comments. Oh, it's a lot of dog emojis. Oh, cute little doggo. Cute doggo Buster. Hi, Buster. He said hi back. I'm sure he did. Yeah, we hit 50 likes. That's why you got to see Buster. This stream just went up a level. Of course, Doggo Buster brings great content. Hello, Buster. How are you? He says, hi, I'm great. Do you think Ten Hag could be willing to regroup and have an unusual starting 11? Well, in a sense, he kind of done that in the cup a little bit. A little bit. Ten Hag sold Van de Beek late in the window with no fuss. Did he? I actually don't know if he did. I swear Van de Beek's still at the club. Am I wrong here? Who knows? Not gonna lie, players do need to look at themselves. If he's sacked, in my eyes, they are downing tools again. Yeah, I'm behind Ten Hag here. I'm on Ten Hag's side. I've had enough of the players. Yeah, Van de Beek. Yeah, Corey, I'm pretty sure you're right. Yeah. Yeah, I thought you were right, Corey. I was just checking. Erik Ten Hag is fighting for his life in that press conference. It's do or die from here. He's made a lot of comments recently about fighting for the team and, not giving up till the job is done and things like that. Those are interesting comments. They are, because it's not talking about too much wanting to play a certain way. So it's interesting to read into it. I think he is back against the wall at the moment, though. He's got to come out fighting. Shout out, by the way, to United District, because it's their Twitter page, which I've been using for these updates. So make sure you do follow them on Twitter. Whoops. And can you see at the top that I'm not after saying that? Let's follow. Sorry, lads. I do apologise for that. Where were we on these? Ten Hag, I have a good squad. I'm convinced about the players in the dressing room. We saw these players last year. Oh, wait, we read that. Ten Hag on being hard to beat. Great term to use in football. Be hard to beat. I like it. I think the players are hard to beat. In this moment, obviously with such 2 defeats, we didn't show it. But I'm convinced in the long term, they will be hard to beat. And they know how to do it. We were hard to beat last season at home. That's all from Erik Ten Hag's pre-Fulham press conference, part 1. Embargoed quotes from 10:30 UK this evening. So make sure to follow these guys on Twitter, United District. It's where I get a lot of my news from. This isn't sponsored or anything. It's just a kind of a shout out. Yes, it's where I get a lot of news from. So yeah, give it a like. AJ, if we continue like this, but would you rather we end up finish mid-table and win the FA Cup? So would I would rather just see better football, truthfully, because I think we saw last season the Carabao Cup. Did it mask certain things a little bit, even in my eyes? Was I blindsided by it a little bit? Possibly. I recorded a Harry Maguire fan cam when I was at the England versus Italy game. Do you want it? Of course I do. What a silly question. My email is on my channel page somewhere. Go find it. Why are people so on the side of Ten Hag? I'm so confused. We were so quick to turn on Mourinho. I think what some of it is, Corey, is I think it's kind of what I was saying to you the other day about when we were talking on Twitter the other day, which I enjoyed the chat, by the way, so thanks for that. I think a lot of it is just being bored of the same cycle. Some of it is going, maybe we were wrong in part with Mourinho, with Van Gaal, with Ollie, pushing them out. I think some of it is admitting that almost coming to the senses more and more and more as we move on, that the issues are higher than the manager. I think we've all had enough of this, the cycle. I think it's a chance to break the cycle. Stick with Ten Hag through the tough patch. Stick with it. Of course, also not everyone turned on anyone as such, but perhaps maybe this is the open heart surgery that Rangnick mentioned, an autopsy we really needed to look into the club and see what's going on. Yeah, maybe it's being fleshed out, in front of our eyes on the football pitch every week. Mourinho had to go. I think the other thing also is I think they all had more time, right? How long was Mourinho at the club? Ollie was at the club a couple of years. Of course, Ten Hag's what? Not even 18 months in yet, is he? What's he, about 16 months in? 17 months in, Ten Hag? That is still quite early. Mourinho was 3 years. It was certainly 2.5 at least. I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong. Corey saying, I understand that, but he has been backed more than any other manager with players he's wanted, yet is producing the worst football and results. Yeah, that's obviously the counter-argument. I think, has he been backed more than anyone with players he's wanted? I think he's probably got the most players that he wanted, but I also think he's missed out on a lot as well. Because, for example, we know that he wanted Frankie de Jong. We know that he wanted Harry Kane, that he wanted Kim Min-jae, and he got Johnny Evans. So I don't know. I think it's more of a time thing. I think probably 15 months, 16 months into Mourinho's reign, we were probably backing him still. I can't remember. But I imagine with Van Gaal, we were backing it 16 months in, and I'd also imagine with Solskjaer, we were backing it 16 months in. I can't remember. Like I said, I can't actually fully remember. We need a squad overhaul. We're in that process. I think one thing Ten Hag's done well is shipped off some players. Yes, there's still a lot of dead wood in the squad, but I think a lot of it's gone as well. Where do you think United will end up in the table? You know what? If it's top 17, we take it. I can't find your email, says Chad. Oh, sorry about that. Go on Twitter or something. Actually, with the league table prediction, 6th or 7th, honestly, at this rate. Ten Hag mismanaged the players and now they're turning on him. Some of the things he's done are distasteful. Overworking players on 2 to 3 games a week, dropping players for nonsensical reasons, etc. Again, it's a difficult one because it's difficult to tell because we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. We don't know the relationship between Ten Hag and the players. There's talks this morning that that Ten Hag doesn't have a close relationship with many of the players. If that's true, that's absolutely a bad thing. So, but we don't know if that's true. Can I ask you one question? Because Corey is not a fan of Ten Hag, right? And that's completely fine. And every time he comments, I feel sorry for him because you guys are all bombard him instantly. So let's flip it up a little bit, all right? And let's say Corey is spot on, hypothetically speaking, and that Ten Hag should leave. What would it take for you guys to agree with that? Like, what would be the final straw for you? Say if we lose 3-0 to Fulham and play horrendously, does that kind of shift some of you? Or does it have to be the next 3 games we lose? Does that shift some of you? Does it have to be end of season? Let's say we finish 10th for this season. Let's say we're 10th in March. Are you still with him? let's say we're 10th in... What if we're 10th by the end of December? December 31st, we're 10th. Again, this is just devil's advocate a little bit. Play the other side of it. I'm just trying to gauge where you guys are at entirely. A relegation scrap would be 3 years after appointment. Harsh truth is that some fans are not ready for a rebuild. This is the problem. And it's the reason I'm still Ten Hag in more than anything. There's a lot of reasons, but the main one is I think the club is run so badly, I don't think any manager could do a good job in 15 months. You might disagree with me, fair enough. But truth, like, for me personally, I don't think Pep Guardiola could get this side doing Champions League level football in 15 months. I don't think he could. I don't think Jurgen Klopp could. Not with this particular squad, and also not working with those lot above them. Even if you look at Arteta and Klopp, for example, people will say they don't have great owners. And I agree with that. I don't think either of those, Liverpool or Arsenal, have great owners. But what they have had during their peak years, Arsenal now, Liverpool a few years ago, is good directors of football. So whilst the owners may not be top, the structure underneath is good, which has helped them. If United can get to that point with Jim Ratcliffe and that, suddenly things could change. I don't know. Fergie spoiled us, and that's a fact. True. Absolute facts. If Ten Hag stole my kidneys, I'd appreciate it if the board sacked him. Yeah, I think that could be a defining point for a lot of people. I don't think you would be deemed as harsh at that point. Liverpool and Arsenal have better structure than us? Yeah, completely. Absolutely, that's what I'm saying though. They have bad owners, because they still have a good club structure in place on that next level. They do well. That's why I'm saying, let's try and be a little bit positive moving forward. Ratcliffe could bring that. I'm not saying he will, but he might. He might. Yeah, Chad's a legend. Chad says the most random stuff, and I love it. With regards of the spend, the wages, etc., at least European football, top 6, preferably top 4. People talking about Ondrej Postecoglou and the comparison. I think what we've got to consider with Postecoglou is that they're out of the Carabao Cup already. They're not playing European football, which means between games you have 7 days, which gives you 5 days on the training pitch to work on tactics, fitness. With Ten Hag, you play a game Saturday, or last season Sunday to Thursday. So Monday's a recovery day, Tuesday's a training day, Wednesday's a tactical day, Thursday you're playing again. Friday's recovery, Saturday tactical, Sunday you're playing again. So it's much harder to implement a system and a style. Also, just the sheer pressure. You're in the limelight. If Postecoglou was doing terrible right now, I don't think that the media noise would be that loud. Just trying to catch up in chat. You guys are putting all the messages in chat right now, which I greatly appreciate. I do apologise if I miss any messages. I'm trying to read as many of them as possible. If you do want to, make sure that I see your message. You can use a super chat or a donation. It guarantees that I see what you say. So feel free to use that if you so wish. If you don't want to, no worries. But it does guarantee that I see what you're saying if you've got a particular question, etc. Next season's transfers are crucial for him to stay. I think it's so important that some of the transfer strain is taken off Ten Hag. I think we need to see a director of football, we need to see a CEO and a better recruitment team who say, okay, Ten Hag, what style do you want to play? We want to play like this. And the club also has its own philosophy of what they want to play. Let's go back a step, actually. Bring Sir Jim Ratcliffe in. He makes an assessment of the football club, then brings in the relevant people. A CEO, maybe a sporting director. Between Ratcliffe, CEO and sporting director, you then need to decide what you want the club philosophy to be. That might be promoting young players. It might be playing a certain brand of football. It might be a selling model. Whatever it is, right? From there, you then need to have the conversation with the manager, Ten Hag, and say, or just figure out basically if that aligns. Does Ten Hag align with what the new football people want to do? If it does, happy days, let's continue. If it doesn't, kick him out, get someone else in. That's how the football club needs to be ruthlessly run when we get the football people in. Once you've done that, you've decided either Ten Hag or a new manager, whoever suits the club philosophy, which we haven't had since Sir Alex Ferguson. Once you've got to that point, then you can talk about how you're going to approach business moving forward. Make better transfer decisions. You then kind of decide, this is now the brand of football we're playing. Ten Hag understands that and is a big part of that. Now let the recruitment team find people and sign the right players, rather than Ten Hag being like, well, I worked with him once, he was good. Quite like him. Because it's not the way to do recruitment. What if Ratcliffe doesn't come in? Do we still keep Ten Hag? I have no idea at that point. It's something I was asking you the other day. Let's say the club wants to sack Ten Hag, right? I'm not saying it does, but let's say they do. Does that contradict? Hypothetically speaking, all right? Do you sack Ten Hag now and get a new manager in? Or do you have to wait for new people, a new structure? Because personally, I do not trust this lot to make a football decision. AJ, will you do a football manager stream? I would like to. I'm thinking about making a second channel if anyone's interested in gaming, whether that be FIFA, things like that. I might make a second channel for that, kind of trying to gauge the interest at the moment, because a few people have asked about it. We could do streams, we could do videos, but yeah, we'll have to see. Let me read a quote from FP for you. Let me just find it real quick. We have a different approach here to be moderately intelligent about it. This is a quote I screenshotted yesterday on my phone. Try to do it more grassroots, trying to locate young talent. Some clubs seem to have an ability to do that. Who do you think he was talking about? Or who do you think said that? Ratcliffe. Maybe that's a sign. Maybe that's the club philosophy we could look to. Corey, in my hypothetical, do you mean? It is a weird one, because Ali said there, a new structure first is a must before sacking anyone. And that's my viewpoint on it. Again, if you disagree, I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just kind of my personal opinion. Get the structure in, then decide. But what if? What if? And it's a huge what if, which I don't want to think about. But let's say United lose 2-1 to Fulham with a pretty stodgy performance. We lose 2-1. We then beat Copenhagen 2-1. But it's a terrible performance, but we get over the line. And then we lose the next league game 3-0. Then we lose a game 2-0. There's only so long you can wait, because we are Manchester United. There is only so long you can put up with results. And it's about finding... Hopefully we never get close to that line, because hopefully we beat Fulham. Hopefully we beat Copenhagen. Whoever's after that, I can't remember. But hopefully we beat them. But what if? What if we were... That's what I was trying to ask you guys earlier. What if we lose the next 4 games? Are you still going to say, let's be patient? Because there comes a time where you can't lose that amount of games in a row. You can't. It's difficult. It's really difficult. Todibo or Kepler Turan from Nice, Jim Ratcliffe's era first signings. I think they would both be decent signings for the squad. Todibo in particular. Kepler Turan would also be a decent squad option for sure. Great young player. Again, just trying to read through. I guess we'd hire another interim. So say if we were to sack now, get an interim, and then when the football people come in, get a new manager. Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. Ratcliffe knows what he's talking about. Yep. He isn't some dud. Yeah. I think Ratcliffe, I think the whole Ineos structure in sport has done pretty well. You'd still keep him? Fair enough. Madhu saying if we don't win against Fulham and lose the remaining group stage games in the Champions League, that would be the final step. We all have different final steps, absolutely. We all have different final straws. Again, just trying to catch up with you guys in chat. There's a lot going on at the moment. Break the cycle. We're Manchester United means something other than it used to now. True. Very true. I'm of the opinion. I agree with you, Ed. I'm just kind of making I'm trying to make the counterpoint. I'm trying to play both sides here to really gauge opinion. I feel like it's quite dry content if, like certain channels, I only give my opinion and don't accept another side of it. I think it's good to say, I think this, but what if I was thinking on the other side? How would I think about it? I think that's a good way to actually bring balanced discussion to it, rather than my opinion is the only one which rolls here. That's not how it works in football. Codename saying, I think we should do recruitment-wise. If Ten Hag wants insert player here, but the recruitment say, I know someone in insert place here, could do that for the way cheaper price. That's quality recruitment. It's about getting a balance for sure. I think it comes down to profile of player again as well. We can say I want Frankie de Jong. Ten Hag might say that. If we can't get Frankie de Jong though, we've then got to find something profile-wise like it. The other thing, right? And again, I'm gonna play against some of you guys here, and this isn't my opinion. This isn't my opinion. I just punched the mic. Sorry. Still shaking. Still shaking. This isn't my opinion on the matter, but again, I want to play the other side of it. The other side of it. It's possible, right? So for the last 10 years, we've got a manager. After 2 years, have been terrible, so we've booted him out. We've got a manager. After 2 years, they've been terrible. We kicked him out. It is possible, just because that's happened in the past, it is possible that we could sack Ten Hag in 20 minutes, bring a manager in who is incredible for 3 years. It could happen. Something might just click. I think it's unlikely with the club structure. I really do. I think it's unlikely. But again, it is possible, and that's why it's such a thing which is so spoken about. It's why clubs don't do it like that. It's not just, not going well, see you later, mate. Or, yeah, we like him, keep him. It's somewhere in between with absolutely everything. All of you are right. You're all right with the point you're making. You got to try and look at it from the other side as well. It's a way to have a good, balanced discussion about it. I think, personally, Ten Hag should stay. That's my opinion. Certainly till we get a new club structure. Go from there. But I've also got to think, why would I want Ten Hag out? Well, because the football isn't very good. Because he's had too much control in signings, etc. Try and think about it, even if you don't agree with it. Try and see the other side. Then you'll get a more balanced discussion. And then you'll actually come to a better answer, most likely, to what the actual question is here, regarding the manager, especially with that sort of thing. I think you have to analyse why we are losing. Is it actually down to the manager, or is it down to recruitment and a toxic club culture? Again, it's both, really. I think recruitment hasn't been good enough. I think, the fact that we spent 100 million on Anthony in August rather than 40 in June last year meant that cost us a whole extra player. That's poor recruitment. I don't care what anyone says. People can say Ten Hag was backed. He wanted him in June, not August. So it cost an extra 60 million. It's a whole extra footballer. So that's still poor recruitment. The club's been run poorly for years. The stadium's literally leaking. And, the facilities aren't great. Director of football missing. CEO missing. Things like that. So that's structural. At the same time, on the football pitch, the players are underperforming, partly because Ten Hag isn't doing his job well enough. We can't get away from that. You might want the Glazers out. You might want Ten Hag out. You might want Ten Hag to stay. You might think he's the right man for the job. What you can't hide from is that Ten Hag categorically is getting some stuff wrong. He is. He is. There's no hiding from it. He is getting stuff wrong. So again, it's a little bit of everyone. Yeah, but we've seen these players do it before. Absolutely. Absolutely. The players are to blame as well. But I think Ten Hag isn't void of criticism. I think Ten Hag is the right man for the job. That doesn't mean everything he does is perfect. That's what I'm trying to say here. It's just most people in here against me. I don't mind people wanting him to stay, but they act as if I'm so wrong. Yeah, with what Corey's saying, guys, Corey hasn't said a word wrong. That's the interesting balance here. I genuinely think you're all right. It's some in between, which we'll never find because we don't run the football club. But again, just try and look at things from the other side as well. AJ, do you think managers and coaches before, but also Ten Hag and his staff, are surprised on how heavy the pressure is as a Manchester United manager, but also in the players? spot on. I think this is the most scrutinised football club in the world. Real Madrid would be right up there. Barcelona would be right up there. But I think United is the most scrutinised. Not the best, but I still think United is in the... I think the only football club bigger is Real Madrid. I think it is the only football club which is bigger. So it's unbelievably scrutinised. We hear that Marcus Rashford went to a birthday party and it's headline news. Man goes to party after bad day at work. That's not headline news. So of course it's the most scrutinised club in the world, which has to be a weight on the shoulders of everyone at the club. Absolutely. Yeah, Madrid first and then Bayern United. Yeah, and Barca are there as well. Absolutely. His own, yeah, exactly. Corey, with what FP is saying there about Ferguson, I don't think he's comparing the managers. I think he's comparing the situation of a manager doing poorly, make or break time. Imagine we went for break time on Fergie, got rid. That's what FP's saying. I do think that the whole conversation here is probably aimed at the wrong people. We shouldn't be talking about the manager because no matter who manages the club, the biggest problem is still higher. We can't hide behind that. We can all agree that sacking isn't the solution. We can't all agree on that. I think one thing we can all agree on is that the manager isn't the only problem. The players aren't the only problem, and certainly not the biggest problem. I think something we can all agree on is the biggest problem at the football club is at the very top. I think that's fine. Criticism is fine, but in this case, we are just fed up with the rinse repeat stuff. Yeah, me too. It's why I haven't done as much content this week, because it's just the same stuff over and over again. This conversation in chat is endless. Like I said, the unanimous thing is that the Glazers are the biggest problem. Let's focus on that, eh? Let's focus on, can we beat Fulham? Look at this. Look on screen. We've got two distracted guys. What's going on here? We need an attack. Let's leave Ten Hag alone for a minute. We've all had our say on whether we think he's the right man. Now it's time to assume he's in a job tomorrow, which I'm pretty sure he is. So how should he set up to win against Fulham? Because ultimately, whether you think he's the right man or the wrong man, we do know that the best thing for the football club is winning a lot of matches. So let's find a way to start here. What's our attack? Anyone still going on about sacking Ten Hag or not sacking Ten Hag? You might get muted for the stream. Because let's move on from that. We've had that discussion. It was a good discussion. I've liked it. Let's move on and now figure out how to win this game. There's something I want to read there, but I can't think. Where was it? It's gone. Maybe it takes a certain type of strong mentality to play at United, but also be a manager, be staff, etc. Yeah. Completely, yeah, I think spot on. Pardon me, I do apologise. Yeah, I think you do have to be it's why I'm a little bit worried when we bring youngsters in like Kobe Mainoo, because it's a big shirt to wear. I don't mean it's like an extra large. I mean, it's a big shirt. It's a big weight. But anyway, attack. What do we go for here? Rasmus Højlund up top, right? No one's disagreeing with that. I wouldn't have thought. Anyone disagree with Rasmus Højlund up top? Give me a yes or no answer. If you do disagree. Well, this season the shirts were too small, apparently. Yeah, touche. Yep, you've outplayed me there. Well done, Mercurial Blondes. That deserves a couple of likes in chat, guys. That deserves a couple of thumbs up. Yeah, that's a good comment. I like that. Was this the midfield we came to, actually? Or was this what one person said? Why is Mainoo in midfield? I don't think he's fit enough. Yeah, I think we were still on the discussion of this, actually, as well, weren't we? I think Rasmus has been brilliant. Genuinely brilliant. He's not scoring in the Premier League, but I don't think that's his fault. We all saw the expected goals numbers from the other day. A striker's job isn't to create chances at the end of the day. It's to have chances created for them, to put them in the back of the net. Of course, he's got other jobs to do as well. It's about connecting things and doing other jobs. But I think Rasmus Højlund is playing well. I'm trying to decide on Kobe here. What would you guys say if I done this for the midfield? Let me just quickly make a starting 11 actually. What would you guys say to this starting 11? Honest thoughts. What would you guys say to that? Would that be a yes or would it be a no? Corey and Codename, lovely way to end it. I appreciate that. Yep. You both got your opinions. You disagree with each other's opinions, but you can respect each other's opinions. Perfect. Good way to end it. Eriksen's better at the moment, but not in the long term. You think we'd get overrun? I think this isn't what I would necessarily go for. I'm thinking this is probably what Ten Hag views as the best team. This is what I think would probably be the lineup. This would be my prediction. Of course, we can structure and stuff. I can't even be bothered to talk about it today. Eriksen has better position than Mount from deep areas. That's a fair point. Eriksen and Bruno. So does that mean Mount out of the team? Kobe must play. It is just a risk returning from fitness, putting him into it straight away is my only concern. Quality-wise, he should. It's more of a fitness thing for me. Is he fit? Okay, so those of you that don't like this lineup, what changes would you make? Would it be Rashford out for Garnacho, for example? Would it be Anthony out? Would it be Fernandes out? Would it be Fernandes out, Mount higher, for example? Would it be Hannibal in? Let me know what you're thinking. You see McTominay starting? That's a fair shout as well. It's not what I would do, but I could see it happening for sure. AJ, 3 players you would sign to change United. Whew. Off the top of my head, that's too difficult. I'll say that for a video, maybe. Wouldn't mind Mainoo coming off the bench. Yeah, I like that a bit more. Yeah, I like Kobe more from the bench, just kind of protecting him a little bit more. You think replace Fernandes with another midfielder and let Mount go higher, says Ben. Good to see you, Ben, mate. Hope you're well. Codename agreeing with that, saying yes, 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 yes. So are you guys thinking maybe more like this, maybe? Unfit Kobe still knows his job. Yeah, I'm not talking about is he up to it in terms of ability-wise. I mean actually stopping him getting injured again. That's what I'm talking about here. Corey says Ten Hag really wants to play from the back. It has to be Onana, Dalot, Varane, Maguire, Reguilon, Amrabat, Eriksen, Van der Beek, Martial, Højlund, Rashford. So is that side with Martial left, Rashford right? I do like the idea of moving Rashford right here and there for sure. I do like the idea of that. Maybe not starting him there, but you know me, Ali knows I love this. Swap the wingers here and there. I just like it. Forgot about Van der Beek. Thanks for the chat. Got to go. Best of luck tomorrow. Hard work. Only way forward for our team. Thanks, Jerry, for joining in the stream. It's been good to see you. Enjoy the rest of your day, mate. Hope you have a good one. Thank you for tuning in. Rashford on the right wing is forced to cross. Yeah, I like it. I like it. We saw it against Galatasaray, was it, for the goal for Rasmus Højlund? Oh, Martial was the 9 and Højlund and Rashford wide. So Rashford left, Højlund right. Okay, I see what you're cooking. If both Bruno and Eriksen starts, surely we must create chances for Højlund. If you can get the ball to the final third and keep it there. Which is a big if. Which is a big if. AJ, what if we play Amrabat, McTominay and Eriksen, move Mount to left wing to replace Rashford? So, are you still keeping Mount in that role, in that team? Sorry. No, so you're putting... Hang on. You put McTominay high? Like this? Is that what you're saying, Codename? I think Bruno is yet to show he can play over 9. For United, yeah, probably. Probably a fair point. That wasn't a cross to Højlund, that was a bullet. Yeah, fair argument. I can't put Eriksen as a starter, particularly against a physical team like Fulham. He will just be bullied. That's kind of my view. Mount or Mainoo with Amrabat, but please not Eriksen before the 60th minute. I feel like the problem with starting Eriksen as well is you're guaranteeing a sub you've got to make, which isn't ideal. You like to be able to impact games with subs rather than being forced to bring someone off because they haven't got the legs for it. I think the reason Ten Hag doesn't want to resort to a mid-block is that he thinks the only real way to create chances is by turnovers in the final third. It's a brilliant point. He doesn't trust his side in possession enough to play good football and move the ball forward and sustain pressure and create chances. So he thinks the best way to create chances is if we can press a bit higher, nick the ball, we don't have as much ground to cover, they're open. I think you're spot on. Why don't we create chances when we get turnovers, though? I think we create opportunities, not chances. So I would describe a chance as a ball being crossed into the box, for example. I get on the end of the ball, have a shot, chance. An opportunity is when you're in a really good position, but nothing comes of it. If you guys go back and watch the first 30 minutes or the first 25 minutes against Manchester City, we had a ridiculous amount of situations where their midfielders are caught high. Scott McTominay was in the team at the time. Driving forward, we had Rashford on the left. The amount of times United got into this sort of situation that day, was Bruno on the right in that game? I think he was. The amount of times United got into this sort of situation early on against City and just don't quite make the right pass, or the final decision isn't quite right. McTominay was shooting at times when he shouldn't. The final pass was poor. If you watch that first 25 minutes against City again, trust me, United were dangerous in transition. They really were. They just made the wrong decisions. Ten Hag, from that point of view, tactically, had United in a good place. We should have scored goals there. Impossible Movie saying, AJ, I joined late. What do you think is the key to beating Fulham? First of all, it's good to see you, mate. Hope you're well. We haven't really covered that too much today. Today's been more of a look at Ten Hag and just the crisis at the club, really. So I haven't actually done a ton of research into Fulham, I have to be honest with you. To be honest, I don't think it was good business to spend that much on Mount either. I think it depends how well he does, right? It's good to do it if he turns out incredible. It's bad to do it if he ends up on the bench in recent weeks. So it depends, really. Do you think these players can't do the man-for-man press because they are not physical or athletic enough? Yeah, I think it's a really fair point. I think in the midfield duels, particularly in midweek, really struggled against Newcastle, just got overran. Yeah, suddenly if we sell Bruno, Mount makes sense. So, it depends what happens moving forward. Codename sums it up perfectly there. Bruno dispossesses Gvardiol, then passes to McTominay, and Man United is 3-on-2, but McSauce had no idea what to do. It's true, I think that one was even like 1 minute 20 into the game or something. Kevin Turam as a 6 or an 8. I don't like him as a 6, but I think he's a good 8. Corey saying the 3 signings he would make is Cherki, Kakare and Chiesa. My fear for Cherki would be out of possession. United fans would hate him. I really like the idea of Kakare though. I love Kakare as a player. AJ, the solution to most of the field problems is to give Fernandes and Eriksen both on the same free roles. The problem with playing with free roles in possession, particularly these days, is rest defence. When you've got quite a free positional role in possession, it does affect your team out of possession, which people don't think about a lot. But let's say I'm Bruno, 1 minute I pop up here, the next I pop up here, the next I pop up here. It changes the structure defensively for those around me. So that's the problem with a free roll. But there's potential in it, absolutely. Chiesa disappeared after the Euros. Yeah, that injury was unfortunate, definitely stunted his career, but he's still a great player. Don't think Ten Hag wants a first phase specialist anymore. Yeah, and if he doesn't, Mount could be really good. But if he doesn't, then play Mount. So it's a weird one again. I've received a message, guys, I've just seen, about a podcast. Would anyone be interested to see an AJ Analysis Atlantis Football podcast? Available on Spotify, and for example. Anyone be interested in that? Let me know. Edwick straight away says yes. Bit of extra content. Who doesn't want extra content, am I right? I think for today's stream, though, I think we are just going to wrap up in a second, because I feel like, again, we're at risk of just repeating ourselves. You guys like the idea of a podcast? Atlantis video today? I haven't seen it. What was he saying? Mercurial saying, I guess, but I'm not a huge fan of Atlantis. Fair enough. I haven't watched much content on YouTube at all recently, so I haven't been paying attention enough to other people. AJ, starting my job now. Wish you all the best, and that was again a great stream. Word of wisdom: if the food is bad, blame the chef, not the waiter. What a line that is. Ali is a man of wisdom. Thank you very much for the donation once again, mate. Have a good day at work. I hope you're well. Hopefully, this weekend we give you a win against Fulham. Hopefully, you get rewarded with that. But thank you very much for the donation. If we could spam some love hearts in chat. As always, I appreciate Ali. You are the absolute legend. Absolute legend. And FP, yes, I try and, if not, remind me. If I forget, message me. But I will try to remember. I even had the calendar. I had it saved in my calendar, but deleted it yesterday. But I didn't mean to delete it. I was trying to delete something else and forgot to read. Yeah, I'm stupid. So you guys like the idea of a podcast? Okay, I'll get back to Atlantis. He's just messaged me about it. Let's just be mentally prepared for whatever it might come tomorrow. Back the manager, everyone. Back the club, especially. I think we're going to wrap up there, though. I think we've had a good stream. I think we've had a good discussion. We've spoken about Erik ten Hag and kind of that menacing glare of his and why he's so angry at the moment, and whether or not he can turn it around. Of course, we've had varying opinions, but that's completely fine as long as we're respectful when we kind of give our different points of view. It's great to see. It's good discussion. Football would be boring if we all had the same idea, right? There'd be nothing to talk about. So we've had a good discussion on that. We've had a chat about potentially a lineup we could see. Now it's over to you, Erik ten Hag. Look at that shine in his eyes. We want to see a smile on that face soon. So yeah, hopefully. Could we join the podcast? Who knows? Who knows? We'd have to see in the future. But keep your eyes peeled for it. Plenty of content come to the channel. We've got a Discord server, which I think I'll do a community post tonight with a link to the Discord server. On that Discord server, you will be able to talk about random clubs, football in general. Manchester United, you can suggest video ideas, players I should be scouting. There'll be a gaming page as well. So, for example, if you want to play like FIFA, for example, or Football Manager, or any game really, there'll be a gaming section on there just for something different. So yeah, check out the Discord when I link it later. It will also probably be linked in the Fulham video when we get to that. What other content have we got coming? Can't remember, I'll be honest. But there's plenty of content on the way. We'll be streaming plenty over the course of the next week or so. We'll be streaming previews for Copenhagen, whoever United play next weekend, although I can't remember. We'll probably do another live scouting for United video because you guys enjoyed that last week. But in terms of today's video or today's stream, I think we are finished. So thank you to everyone who was sat there quietly and not really said anything. Thank you to the 67 people who have liked the stream. Lovely to see 67. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you to everyone who has contributed with opinions, thoughts, the fact that most of them have been respectful and honest. Great to see. Valuing each other's opinions. Lovely stuff. But yeah, I think apart from that, we're done for today's video or today's stream. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one, which is tomorrow morning, a video. Ten Hag, Ajax. Why isn't it happening at United? We'll see. Catch you in the next one.